1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, what's up, YouTube? This is Take Five Podcast. I'm Aaron.
I'm
I'm
Carrie.
Dustin. Oh shit, I'm Honey Licorice.
Right on. All right, today's topic is top five all-girl bands. It could they could have guys in the band like at some point in their career, but at least if they've had one album where it was all girls. Because there's been a weird debate on this with people. So,
Ah,
Okay.
I'll admit
all
I
right,
went purist on this one.
yeah, that's good. All right, what's Jeff for number five, Carrie?
So number 5, I'd probably have to go with the Donnas.
Nice. That was
Yeah,
honorable mention. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely the Donnas. They're like really kind of the first funny of all girl group I got into. I up to that point, so I was a little snot-nosed teenager and thought that I can't play like a girl. I got to play like a dude and all this shit. And then I finally we see the Donnas, and I actually saw them on the movie Jawbreaker, and that was
Mhm.
during the Get Skin Tight, and then heard them do a cover of Too Fast for Love on Get Skin Tight, so
Yeah.
immediately started turning me on to them. And
Right.
I've been a fan ever since. I actually saw them a couple times. Really good band.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty big for a short minute too.
Yeah, like right around 2002, 2003, you couldn't get away from the song Take It Off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was so ecstatic during that time, and then kind of like most things, when there's all that hope that rock is going to come back to the
Mhm.
mainstream. Nope.
Yeah. All right, Dustin, what's Jeff for number five?
My number five, I think I went kind of deep with this. This is a late 60s all-girl group with the Quattro sisters, featuring
Ooh.
Susie Quattro, who went on to do her own thing, but she had this band with a couple of her sisters called the Pleasure Seekers.
Yep.
Nice. That's pretty deep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say that is actually I actually was reading up on that when I was reading up on Susie Quattro when we did the female fronted bands or just female artists.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't heard them yet, but
It's different. I mean, it's not I mean, it's different like because it's late 60s and it's not what I expected it to be. Doesn't mean I disliked it, but yeah, check it out though. The Pleasure
okay,
Seeker.
I'll have to see that.
All right. My number five, you guys probably haven't heard this band. I hope I'm going to pronounce it right, but it's called Reina Avea.
Okay,
I think it's Spanish for Queen Bee or something like that.
okay,
But they're like a sludge metal band from the 90s from Gainesville, Georgia. I mean,
okay,
Florida. I'm sorry. When I lived in Florida, they used to
Yeah.
play there all the time.
nice.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
So
They
I'm gonna warn that my top three are gonna all be interconnected, but this one will be the last one that is not interconnected.
okay.
Um, and that is my number 4 is Drain STH.
Nice.
And if we're gonna go sludgy, let's get some sludge going on. Especially considering what I think one of the guitar players was married to Tony Iommi there for a little bit. I don't know if she
I,
still is.
I was gonna say I recognize that name when you said it. I
Yeah.
haven't heard it in a while, but I
And
recognize.
so I heard them the first time I was 15 years old and I was living in the BFE, Illinois. And the station there, I-97, kept playing I Don't Mind. And I was just like totally addicted to it.
Mm.
Um, so it kind of showed me that a lot of women could get really fucking heavy if they wanted to. which
It's
was
funny that you said them because I seen them in Florida also open for
oh
Typo
nice.
90.
Oh, I bet that show was killer.
Yeah. That was on like 96 or something. So that was a while back. Yeah, they were matter of fact, like I thought they were better than Typo that night. I love Typo, but they were kind of boring live, I thought.
Yeah.
The Dragon STH was really good. All right, Dustin, what'd you have for number 4?
Number 4 for me, I went with what I think a lot of people kind of considered like the female version of Motorhead with Girl School.
Yeah.
Yeah, an honorable mention
Yeah,
there.
me too. Yeah, for sure.
No, Lemmy dated Kelly Johnson, the guitarist. If you watch the Please Don't Touch video, she's the guitarist with the gold top Les Paul. And Lemmy in his book White Line Fever used to say that on her best night she could beat Jeff Beck.
It's pretty rad. Yeah.
Dude, come on. You see that if you ever watch the video for Please Don't Touch, she's basically up next to God and is holding her own. That band is badass.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, definitely the female Motorhead. I mean, the only women that have actually been able to be on a Motorhead album.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that just should say everything right there.
Yeah.
I mean, Lemmy's not gonna let you on his album if you're gonna screw around.
Yeah, and shit. Yeah, I had him as honorable mention too. All right, my number 4, Crucified Barbara.
Huh.
Swedish hard rock band that was active from 98 to 2016. I saw them up in Detroit with Crash Diet a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really good. All right, Karen, you have number 3.
So you're gonna laugh, but the number 3 and number 2 are gonna be interconnected.
Okay.
Number 3, and it leads to an event in my life as well. Betty Blowtorch.
And I didn't say them for a reason.
It was because of Betty that I even considered joining Butt Trumpet.
Nice.
I had heard of Betty Blowtorch. I listened to Betty Blowtorch back in the early 2000s. And it was because of Betty. I listened to like very little Butt Trumpet. I mean, I was just like, okay, that's a stupid name at the time. And then fast forward about 4 years later, and I'm hammered on Southern Comfort, and I'm talking the Black Label Southern Comfort. So I've got the strong stuff in me at that point. It's about 2 a.m. and I just left the band I was in at the time, and I'm looking through Craigslist. LA punk band looking for guitarists. Email, didn't think anything of it. I got a call at 2:30 in the morning our time because it's only 11:30 in LA.
Yeah.
But so there's that significance for me with Betty Blowtorch. But the initial thing was actually listening to Betty Blowtorch. Like, I loved all their songs. I loved Bianca's attitude. I loved Blair's playing. I mean, just the whole thing. And then, of course, the song "I'm Ugly and I Don't Know Why," well, kind of worked with my childhood, so it was something for me to laugh at and just kind of stick my middle finger up at. So yeah, Betty Blowtorch, definitely number 3.
Great story. Yeah, great story.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Dustin. What'd you have for number 3?
Well, I'm going to say my number 3 is an obvious, probably if not the most predictable. I got Vixen.
Honorable mention, but not on my list though.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong though. I like the fact that Roxy Petrucci and I have the same birthday, so it all works out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
She's also the only brunette in the band, so I also like that.
Yeah.
amongst all the blondes, they had Roxy.
But it's funny you said Vixen because that's where the whole debate came up. Rosie, who was supposed to be on the show, she's like, well, Trex can't pick Vixen because they have a male keyboard player or something.
Oh, okay.
Main members. The main members were all female.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I told her. Yeah. So that's why there was
actually,
a debate on that.
if you want to watch, if we want to get purist, if you watch the movie Hard Bodies, by the way,
Yeah.
Vixen is the house band.
Yeah.
Do you see one guy in that house band?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, because
really
that's
funny. I just admitted I watched an 80s sex comedy, kid.
that's one of the best ones too.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna go with one, go with one. Especially if they don't stop playing.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, see, because that's Trex's favorite, and she's like, we had that little debate, so that's why I had to bring it up just in case somebody.
That would have been a good debate too.
All right, my number 3, L7.
You just took my number 2, but I'll explain with the number 2. The combination there.
Okay.
So, I want to let you talk about why you love L7, and then I'll tell my story when I tell you about L7.
Just in that what's the one album now? It's the big one. They just
Bricks Are Heavy?
Yeah, the one they just did the anniversary. Like, just it was such a great album. Huh?
Were you at the show?
No, I mean I had to work.
Dude.
I know Radkey opened up, which was an awesome, but
oh yeah, it was amazing show.
But I seen him on that album back at the Newport back in the day.
Well, I was 10 when that album came out, so there was no way I was going to see him live then. So I guess we might as well link your 2 with your 3 with my 2. So L7, and Jennifer Finch from L7 actually replaced Sharon Needles and Betty Blowtorch before Bianca died. So there is an L7 connection to Betty Blowtorch. Now that is not the reason why I love L7. I love L7 when Hungry for Stink came out, and the first song I ever heard was Fuel My Fire. I was living in BFE, Illinois. I was the town outcast. I was told that girls do not play guitar. Girls do not look the way I look. Girls do not wear flannel clothes. Girls do not do what I do. Girls are not weirdos like me. And then there's 4 weirdos on the cover of a magazine. And it was like, finally, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
They dyed their hair blue and red and all these cool colors, and they just looked cool. They didn't look like Courtney, because all the girls were like, you had to look like Courtney Love, but Danita didn't look like Courtney. Susie sure as hell didn't look like Courtney. And Jennifer never looked like any of the regular grunge girls. She always had like the nice flowery dresses and was a little girly, but then played bass like a motherfucker.
They were so punk, man. It was
attitude.
I'm
just wearing my Fear shirt because that's how much I was like, they are just so fucking punk rock. And I was so happy. I've seen them. This was my second time seeing them. I saw them in 18 or 19.
Yeah, I remember
Kemba. And then I just saw them at Newport about a week, just a little over a week ago with Radkey opening. And I was going to see L7, but it was like, okay, I finally get to see fucking Radkey while I'm at it.
See, I seen Radkey at the Roomba.
See, every time that they play Roomba, I'd have something else going on.
They were so good.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they are so badass.
Yeah. But yeah, like I remember hearing stories like they would throw like bloody tampons out in the audience.
I watched that news story when it came out. What happened? It was Lollapalooza, and somebody was talking shit to Danita, and Danita literally had her like shorts taped on her. Okay. Not going to get too graphic, but it is uncomfortable to do what she did and then throw it at somebody. Okay, so how bad you pissed off somebody to that point where they literally are yanking something out of them to throw at you? That's beyond even Twisted Sister at Donnie. I mean, at least when you're throwing crap at people, and I mean literal crap, there's not as much of a painful process in that.
Right on. All right. Dustin, what's your number two?
Well, Carrie already said it, but I had the Donnas for number two.
Nice.
And I mean, for every reason you said, they were underrated. I mean, yeah, they got, the Take It Off was the hit for them, and but you figure they've been doing that shit since the mid '90s.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they stayed true to what they did, and the guitar player in that band was off the fucking charts. Like,
Allison Roberts. Funny thing about Allison Roberts, she actually comes from music industry stock. I want to say her dad had a song on on the Karate Kid soundtrack,
that's crazy. Yeah, yeah,
or at
she
least had
smoked
written a
so
song or something
far.
like that. Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
She was an amazing guitar player. I mean, she's still with us, but
yeah,
yeah, I absolutely love them. Like my favorite album from them is the follow up. Funny enough, to Spend the Night, which Take It Off is on, and
yeah,
it's produced by Butch Walker, and it's called Gold Medal, and it's a really great album. I think that's actually their best sound. It's very 70s esque, and I
yeah.
love it. It's got that really fat sound to it. And it's very unlike like your typical Butch Walker produced album. Like you don't hear a whole lot of Butch on it. Like when you hear a Butch Walker album, you hear like a lot of his songwriting. That's not the case with this album. So it's like that really awesome production he does, but without
Mhm.
all the songwriting.
Yeah.
And kind of let them take the range, which was kind of cool.
Right on. All right. My number two. I hope this isn't your number one, Carrie. The
Oh,
Lunatics.
actually no,
Oh,
but they are an honorable mention.
Yeah, I fucking love the Lunatics, man. Got to see them too.
Oh, fuck you.
They opened up for the fucking Buzzcocks at the Alrosa. Yeah, that was the shit.
Fuck you for both those shows.
That
For both
was
of
a
them.
bad motherfucker right there, man.
Dude, I'd
Yeah,
give anything to fucking see the Buzzcocks.
yeah, that was a fun night.
I was waiting for you to say my number one, but my number one is actually I would call them the quintessential one as far as rock and roll.
Dustin's number one on that.
yeah,
Oh, it probably is, but there's a reason for it being number one. You don't have what two to three members of a band become semi-famous to holy shit famous
Mm-hmm.
and not be in a number one slot. That would be the Runaways. You
Yep.
have
yep,
Joan Jett, you have Lita Ford, two of the most well-known female guitar players in history,
yep.
maybe outside of Nita Strauss. So obviously, yeah, the Runaways, it's almost going without saying, but it was also the first time that you really saw a band that brazen. Now, outside of, Susie Quattro, but Susie had to become Susie. Joan seemed like she was always going to be dumb.
Hmm.
And same thing with Lita, same thing with Cherie, same thing with Sandy. Now, uh, it's funny though, Jackie Fox. I saw actually where Jackie Fox was on Jeopardy, and no mention of her being, Jackie Fox, because they had her as Jacqueline Fuchs.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think she wants hardly any
She doesn't because
memory or
of
association.
the shit with Kim Fowley, and
Yeah,
I don't blame her. I mean, and also that's if a girl band wants all the things not to do as well. The Runaways also did it because they imploded. Kind of turned on each other after watching Bad Reputation and also Edge Play. Um, it is sad to watch both those areas of Jones documentary and then also the Runaways, because it was extraordinarily dysfunctional, both in their personal lives and on stage, which kind of sucks. Um, but it's also when you're the first, you're the trailblazer, so you don't know the rights and wrongs, you don't know the ins and outs. And so I think a lot of female bands wouldn't exist right now if it weren't for them. Because
yeah,
if because somebody had to be the first. It was gonna be them. Kim Fowley or not.
Yeah, see, Dustin talks about them a lot, so I knew
Oh,
they were his number. Yeah,
obviously my number one also.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And yeah,
Dustin and I are very copacetic on this
yeah,
one.
I mean, yeah, and for every reason you said, but also just the sheer fact it's the 70s. They're all girls and they're teenage girls and could fucking smoke as a band.
And blow most of the male bands off the fucking
Right.
stage.
That's exactly what I mean. Like teenage girls in the fucking 70s. Like
Yep.
it, yeah.
And
And
let's
like you
face
said,
it, you
well,
have the feminist movement there, but it's not. But let's face it, it's not near. I mean, there have definitely been strides made from the 1970s to now. You know, nowadays a guy smacks me on my ass, I can turn around, deck him, and somebody understands why. In the
yeah,
70s, it was literally just know your fucking role.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So,
and you touched on this too. It if it didn't happen with that band, Joan Jett, Lita Ford, Sandy West were clearly going to do something musically.
oh
I
yeah,
don't know how much maybe Cherie Curry may or may not have
I
because
think
she
she
was
would have
kind of
done more
reeled
acting.
into it. But those three, if the Runaways didn't even happen, they would have still done something musically, band wise, whatever, and
It's
it
almost
it
like
would have been successful.
it was programmed in them in some way,
Absolutely.
shape, or form,
Yeah.
whether it's DNA or the universe or what have you. But yeah, they were
Yeah.
just programmed to be that way.
Yeah.
Right on.
So what's your number one?
My number one, it actually would have been Lunatics, but I figured somebody would have said it, so I kind of moved it down in case I had to replace it. Dustin, you'll probably know this band, but Carrie, I don't know about you.
Okay.
Donuts,
Oh yes.
straight edge hardcore band from Sweden.
Okay,
I've
I've
seen
heard
them.
of, have not heard.
You seen them, Dustin?
I saw them at
Nice.
the original Peabody's Down Under in the 90s with Snapcase and I like other relevant 90s hardcore bands at that time, you know.
Damn.
But yeah, I think I actually would say them and Donuts and Snapcase were on tour together. And my buddy that I went up with, we got lost because we didn't. So we ended up getting there like while the Donuts were playing. So I did get to see like most of their set. And I remember like some dude, like somebody came up on stage and like grabbed the singer and kissed her, and she got pissed as fuck, man. But yeah, I've seen them.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
knew you knew them, but I didn't know you seen them. That's pretty awesome.
yeah.
See, what, Carrie, you know me from, mainly like glam or punk shows. But in
Yeah.
the 90s, I spent a lot of the 90s in Orlando, Florida. And I
So a
was
lot of the
part of,
industrial.
actually, I was part of a straight edge hardcore scene down
Oh, okay, cool.
there. Yeah, like, I don't know if you knew any of those bands like Reversal of Man. I'm sure, Dustin, you know them, right? Drag
Yeah.
Body. But yeah,
I
like,
honestly, I'd never really. I had heard of the whole straight edge movement, but not like localities and what have you. So I
mm,
really didn't know too many straight edge bands. And by the time I really got heavy into punk rock, um, I kind of got more into the junkie punk type of, Johnny Thunders and
mm,
Dead Boys and stuff like that. So kind of punk and roll, I guess I should say, not so much junkie punk. But
yeah,
um, and then I started kind of getting more into kind of more of the hardcore stuff. Dead Kennedys, Fear, stuff like that.
yeah.
So yeah, I've only I remember actually I was walking out of Bernie's because they were about to start charging people, and I saw you walking into Bernie's to go see the Murder Junkies.
Yep.
And see, I like some of Gigi's stuff. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I love some of the
Yeah.
Murder Junkies.
Yeah.
But I kind of got more into that as I got older.
Yeah.
I became angrier as I became older, so
Well, yeah,
it made more sense.
you played with Joey. He
Oh,
loved GG stuff.
oh, I know. Trust
Yeah.
me, I
So
remember. I remember one time in a certain punk house that will remain nameless. just due to its reputation now. It used to be a cool place. We were hanging out. We were hanging out with the two proprietors, and you know, watching those two and Joey play Gigi songs as a three-piece was kind of interesting, and I didn't realize how much he actually knew Gigi stuff. So yeah, he turned me on a lot of, like, between my husband Anthony and Joey, I got turned on to a lot of punk rock, and it was kind of just because, funny enough, when I met my husband, I was a blues player, so
Wow.
I got into rock, a lot of rock. I mean, I'd already loved Guns N' Roses. I wanted to be Slash. I wanted to be Joe Perry,
Mhm.
but I also wanted to be, Howlin' Wolf and and BB King and Albert Collins and all that. And then I meet my husband, or boyfriend at the time. He turns me on to all the 80s stuff. So then I want to learn how to play like George Lynch and what have you. Except I have no luck finding a band in that time. And that's how I ended up putting out an ad in Cringe and becoming part of Joey Blackheart and the Gallows,
Nice.
which is actually the band I had just left before I joined Butt Trumpet.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm drinking my blues away, as Junkyard would say.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, say
very
that.
many.
I when I met you, you were playing for Joey. Matter of fact, the night I met you guys was Roxy May, and I came up and me and Joey came up and
Victory.
sang Guns N' Roses with Roxy.
Oh, that was
Remember
at
that?
Hal and Al's. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
right
I
there in
remember
Perth.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, because I actually had, if you notice, I like was motioning Joey over because he didn't know part of the lyrics, and I'm having
Yeah.
to yell them in his ears.
Yeah.
Like, no, I see your sister in a Sunday dress.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the nights I got up and did Nothing But a Good Time. I sang on that song.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
And I remembered the lyrics. I was hammered. It was also the night that our manager knocked into Roxy May's gear. She was so drunk she stumbled back into their gear.
Damn, I remember that.
Oh, we do, because it became an inside joke within the band.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's great.
I mean, it was great. She was a good person, though. I mean, she is a good person. It just different times, man. I got a billion stories like that. Some I remember well, and some I'm going to say, okay, it's a little fuzzy after about 11:30.
But it's funny because I get surprised at some of the shows I see you at because we're like me, I've gone through different genres. I say, I was 14 when Appetite came out. So it was like, I was about 10 when I started getting into Motley Crue. So, I got into that stuff young, but then kind of when the 90s hit, that music, and I know it died out, but it did start suck around that time.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, you start getting a lot of repetitive bands. There were some good bands that came out around that time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of repetitive shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of got into the grunge for like 2 seconds. I didn't even last 2 years or whatever it was. That I went from that stuff. Then I started getting into like Biohazard,
Okay.
Agony. Then from that, I went to the more which Dustin is he's into all that too. Like so, I went from that, and then I moved to Florida in '95, and I became straight edge and was going to Earth Crisis shows and and it's weird. Like I've changed scenes so many times, through the years. And
so, and I'll try to make this brief. I actually started as an El Roosevelt kid. I used to watch American Dog all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to hang out there. Used to try to sneak in, on the 21 Nova nights because I was 18.
Mm-hmm. I remember those days.
Oh yeah. I did band merch for Beautiful Creatures, so I was like all about the El Roosevelt. And I didn't even know about Bernie's until 2002. And it was actually Anthony, my husband, who was going to try out for this band called Servants of Evil. It was the first time we were ever Bernie's. And our car, which by the way was a 1982 Chevette, that you had to arc the starter with the key in the on position just to get started. So give you how bad this car was.
Mhm.
We parked, if you remember the frat house that was right across the way, how you couldn't park in that parking lot?
Mhm.
Well, we're two dopes and we decided we're going to go park in that parking lot. We got our car towed. I had to walk. This is 2002, so Gateway is still squat area. Pro Ghetto is still Pro Ghetto. And we got to walk from Bernie's on 16th down to Fifth Avenue,
Oh
Yeah.
across
shit.
71 into Linden.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. And Anthony's in a pair of Chucks. It's February. There is snow on the ground. Now I'm in a pair of platform boots that are about this big. We both don't have winter coats because at the time we were so fucking broke we couldn't even afford a bed to sleep on, let alone fucking coats. So he's fucking pissed. We got the car back, but that was our first impression of Bernie's.
Yeah.
Until I played with the Gallows 3 years later, and it was like, wait, that fucking place we got fucking towed at? Yeah. And then we learned how to lug gear. We actually learned how to lug amps up from a half a block away.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my back just hurts talking about that.
Thinking about it.
Bernie's had some good shows though.
Oh yeah, I miss that place. I
Yeah.
miss that place like crazy. But I was like 23 when I actually really joined the Bernie scene
Yeah.
with the Gallows, and the
Well, see-
Gallows were, yeah.
But see, I had some bad luck at the Alrosa though. Like
Oh, I
well,
have
'cause
stories
when-
about the Alrosa too.
yeah, because when I first started going, it was 18 and up, regardless of, and then it being all ages, but it's 18 and up regardless of who was there. And I remember I was 18 and I went to go see Quiet Riot, but I didn't have my driver's license, so I didn't even have a state ID. And they refused me. I had my birth certificate, and they refused me. They were like, "You could have found it in the trash." I'm like, "Well, I happened to find one in the trash that says I was 18, just to go see Quiet Riot." So I didn't get in.
Oh,
Then this would have been 91.
okay.
So then and then finally I got ID so I could start going. But then when I moved to Florida 95 and came back, I was like 26 or something at that time.
Mhm.
And I go in there and I had an ID. I went to go see Stuck Mojo.
Okay.
And they were like, "Oh, this ID is fake. You're not 26."
Oh my God.
I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" I was like, first of all, I'm just here to see the show because I'm like straight edge. I'm like, I'm not here to drink. I'm here to see the show.
Say, you're out of the straight edge scene, so you're definitely you're not drinking.
Yeah, so it's like, and I'm like, why would I lie and say I'm 26 of all ages?
Yeah, no joke.
I mean, that's a random age. So I go and finally they're like, "Oh, you can go in." So I go in and they holler over to the security, like, "Make sure he doesn't buy alcohol." I'm like, first of all, if I want to buy alcohol, I'm old enough. I mean, you can't reject me because of my age, and you can reject me because I'm being a dick right now. But but Alrosa was so great though. It had so many good shows. But man, I used to have issues getting in there at times, man.
I remember the most violent show at Alrosa I ever saw, and you'll laugh. It was fucking Winger.
Really?
2007. I'm not joking. The number of people I saw bounced from that show, and I'm talking. I've seen Obituary. I've seen King's X. I think I saw Dope there once. I saw a fucking goddamn Power Man 5000. I was up front for Power Man 5000. I've seen Buck Cherry. Number of 80s metal shows. And Winger is the one where everybody's deciding to beat the shit out of each other.
That's funny.
I don't know, guys, but this music doesn't necessarily make me want to punch people. I mean,
yeah, no shit.
It's kind of mellow, dude. I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm thinking maybe you might want to dance with your girl here a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they all might have realized that they fucked up and went to a Winger show that night.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know the pits are usually.
I kind of like I like some of their stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
hate
lie.
Winger. I'm being a dick, but
Oh, okay.
Now, see,
Yeah,
like
I-
I've never seen them till last year and this year. They actually put on a good show. You know, I
They do,
hated them.
and Kip is amazing musician. Also,
yeah,
cool little punk fact for everybody. Kip used to play for Alice Cooper. That's
Yeah.
how he
oh
got his
yeah,
start.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's like that's one of those bands I hated back then, and I got older. Like I like all their stuff,
Yeah,
and I seen them twice, and they were really good. But I can't. I'm not gonna go to Winger show. But like, Heading for Heartbreak's coming on. Let's start fighting. You know,
Yeah.
let's get this pit going.
Oh my God, it was. They like had to stop the show. Oh,
That's-
funny enough, getting back to the topic of our show tonight, the L7 show last week, they start playing drama, and then they have to stop the show because, well, drama in the front row, two people beating the shit out of each other.
Damn.
They're like, we'll give you space to deal with that. It's like, okay, that's the perfect. At least if they did it, I guess, to the perfect song, you know, talking drama. I mean, it's better than 17, and they have to stop the show, and these guys are beating the shit out of each other.
That's great.
And I actually think that's the funniest story I have when it comes to the El Rosa. It's like the most violent show I've ever seen in El Rosa. It wasn't an obituary show. It wasn't dope. It wasn't Power Man 5000. It wasn't anything like that.
That's great.
Winger.
All right, we're getting low on time. You guys have any honorable mentions real quick, or
Well,
Babes
hell
in
yeah.
Toyland.
There's two I gotta mention that none of us said.
all
The
right?
Go-Go's and the Bangles.
I had both them honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, honorable
Not
mentions.
bad. Don't get me wrong. I like them. I guess it was just kind of been my mood lately, because I do love the Bangles. I love their harmonies. Also, Susanna Hoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Say that, you also, Mickey from Bengals was in the Runaways. Funny enough,
Yep.
there was that connection.
Yep. I was gonna say that too. I just never remembered her name.
Yeah,
Said with a lot of women, I don't remember their names.
no, yeah, I understand. I'll just kick you in the shin if you forget mine. Like, hey, man,
That was going to be me attempting to be funny.
Gary, you have any?
I blurted out, and sorry over honey here. I blurted out Babes in Toyland.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on. Yeah.
We also got another band, kind of part of the metal edge type of crowd, if you will. Phantom Blue.
Yep, I had
Oh
them.
yeah.
Precious Metal,
Mm-hmm.
Leather
Yeah.
Angel.
Okay.
But actually, we're about to run out of time, so we're gonna go ahead and end it.
All
Right.
right.
Thanks for coming on, Gary.
No worries. Thank you for having me again.
5 and out.
All
Honey
right.
licorice.
Peace.
What don't they